and welcome to Follow Phonics. So I thought I would upload a video that might be useful for trainee teachers or parents at home that are doing some home learning right now, especially early years in year one, reception and so on, that are seeking out some phonics help. I'm going to show you how I would go through a session and explain why. This obviously isn't the one and only way. This is just a style that I find useful and has helped me along the way. So I have experience in most of the phonics schemes. I've done Jolly Phonics, Letters and Sounds, Read, Write, Ink, and I've also approached phonics abroad. So I've dipped into it in many ways and I've done it for a number of years. I think that this way has been helpful for me, but again, it's just, I'm just showing you how you might approach it in a lesson if you're a training teacher, or if you want to do this at home, or if you want to watch our content, that's fine. So I'm going to share a screen with you and I'm going to go through each individual page as to how I would do it. So bear with me a moment. Right, okay. So the first thing that I would do is I would introduce the phase that we have looked at before. So I would say what phase we're going to look at right now, and then very quickly I would go over some high frequency words, or you might hear the term red words. These are words that the children see quite often in books, stories, around them. Basically they're words that children just need to try and learn as much as they can. I wouldn't push it and say that they are sight words, because some of them can be blended and decoded, another term that you might hear. So first of all, I would point to the words and I might say my turn and your turn. So I might say have, get the child to repeat, your, get the child to repeat. So I would do this very quickly. And the reason why is so the children just get used to seeing these words and just knowing them. So it would be a quick starter. So this would be the first part of our learning. Once I've gone through all of that, I will then revisit and review. So for trainee teachers or anyone that's particularly interested, I would put a page at the beginning of my session, and it's a page that the children would know very well. They've seen it before, we do it every day, and I would practice each and every sound. I would also use some phonics terminology. So I might say a digraph, two letters that make one sound. So obviously the A and the Y. So the A on its own, A, Y, Y, but together they will be blended together to make, I'm sorry, this writing is awful on here. They'll be blended together to make one sound, the digraph. So I would use terminology so that the children, I mean, some of the children get excited and they're quite happy to learn these big words. So it's quite good to introduce it to them to spark a love for language, I guess. So I would revisit the sounds, go through it quickly. This part of the learning is short and snappy. The next part. Okay. So I quite like to do this. Again, not everybody does, but rather than tell them what sound we are looking at straight away, I want the children to kind of guess. So I would give them a number of pictures. I might give them a clip art picture. I will also give them a real picture, or I may even give them pictures that are relevant to them, like a school a part of the school playground that we're teaching in right now, or maybe their home environment. So I'll get them to look at pictures and I want them to explain what they see and if they can find a sound that it might be. So I've pointed to the tray here and I've pointed to hay. So we know what the tray is and we can see hay. So what sound would be in those two words? Children might guess, they might not, they might need extra help, that's fine. So I'd get them to have a guess, and I would definitely get them to have whiteboards and a whiteboard pen all the time. So with their phonics lessons, I would say having a whiteboard and whiteboard pen is very beneficial because the children won't have that fear of making mistakes because they can rub them out. So I would recommend having whiteboards and whiteboard pens every lesson. So I might have a timer and I might get them to see what they can see on this page. I then tell them the sound that we are looking at. Well, actually, I might have it covered again. So this part, robot arms. So robot arms is basically just a way of decoding words and sounds. So you break them down and you do an action. This really helps the children to break down words, blend them together in a fun way. The children, I mean, from my experience, they love doing the robot arms. So they're ready, they're engaged, and they're willing to take part. It helps them with sound buttons as well. So I tend to put sound buttons underneath. Again, you don't have to, but this will prepare them to break down words on their own, I think. So I'll get them to sound out each word, but with robot arms, and I will make it very clear that it's important to blend the sounds together. So hey, and I'll get them to do an action or something they like in order for them to remember. So again, the robot arm section will be quick and easier for them to pick up, break down words. Some things that I do when I have this page up also, when I'm in the classroom, would be a sound button game. So I'll encourage the children to have their hands behind their backs and I will say a word. It might be one from here, it might be a different word. I tend to use the words that we've looked at. So if I say, how many sounds are in the word hey, the children have their hands behind their back and I will say, show me in 3, 2, 1, using your fingers. So obviously after they've done the robot arm exercise, hands behind their back, they know that hey, A, has 2 sounds. So I encourage them to show me with their fingers. Children get really excited by that little game. It's quite quick, but it helps them to break down, recognise sound buttons and show you. So crayon, A, O, 5 sounds. So it's just so the children, well, especially for playground, there is another digraph in this word. So play, A, the digraph there, but it also has g, r, ow, ound. It has another digraph. So this is good to spot. That game is good to spot if children can recognise other digraphs from previous learning. So as a trainee teacher, if you take note of that, it's quite a good way to assess the children while you're doing the lesson. So I would recommend that exercise. Right, I don't normally have the ticks. Sorry, this is a used chart, but normally it's blank and it just has the words. So for this page, can you find the sound? I would encourage the children to look for the specific sound that we were looking at. Now, I might get them to quickly write it on their whiteboards, give them a timer and say, write the words with sound today, and underline the sound. I get them to do that. I might play another game where I say, can you find any other sounds that we've looked at before in any of these words? So this page, I just do a bit of an investigation, and you can come back to it and play games like bingo, where you get the children to draw 6 boxes or 4, choose words, write them down, and then if I say them, they can cross it out. So that's a listening exercise, another good game. Right, this one I find quite important because this gives them practice with sentences and remembering things, retaining information. So for this part, I will say, can you remember the sentence? And I will read a sentence out to them. We will read it together, but we will also do silly voices. We might say the sentence, whisper in the sentence. We might do robot arms with our sentence. We might whisper the sentence to a friend. So it's all about retaining information. And then I will encourage the children to write it on the whiteboard once I've covered it up. So I'll cover it up and I'll say, can you write that sentence? And then underline the sound. And this is a good practice to get them to do capital letters, full stops, underlining sounds. I think it just puts the word that we're looking at into a different context, and they might find it in a storybook later on. So that's good practice, I personally would say. Right, this is where they will apply what they've learned. So can you think of your own sentence? So using the sound that we have looked at, I will then encourage the children to write their own sentence. I might give them a timer, I might not. And obviously with the whiteboards, the children feel a bit better, they can make mistakes, they can go over it again. And I would also, at this point, trainee teachers, if you would want to do something like this, at this point I might get them to do a peer assessment. So I'll get them to think of a sentence and write it down, underline the sound. I will get them to maybe swap whiteboards and say, did your friend underline the sound? Or maybe you can underline the sound for your friend. So that's a bit of extra peer assessment time, I would say, that you could put in there for your phonics lessons, because don't forget, they're meant to be short, snappy lessons, so not quite half an hour or 45 minutes, at top at least about 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes, but I wouldn't last a long time on one slide. Okay, so I like to include alien words because obviously the children will have alien words in their end of year phonics screening check. So I take it from the Department of Education website and I put them on the flip charts because I think the children should really look at the style of how it will be written for the actual screening check. That's my personal opinion. I'll get them to sound out, but I won't go over alien words too much. I will just have it at the end, say that these are silly words, they're nonsense words. I might play a game where they write as many alien words as they can, make them up. Yeah, so I wouldn't focus on it too much, but I would definitely have it on my board so that when it comes to the screening check, they won't be confused, they will know exactly what to do, breaking down any sound, any word that is unfamiliar to them. So that's basically what alien words are encouraging the children to do. So I hope that's useful. I'm going to do some more learning videos on the sound mats. So yeah, you can catch our videos on here. I'm hoping to give some more tips on what I think is good. Again, this is my personal opinion, my personal experience. Hopefully it will help somebody, some parents. If you have any questions, I think I can have a comment section where you can leave questions. I know for the children's learning videos you can't, but if you want, you can leave some questions here of anything that you need to know that a primary teacher might help you with, or any concerns that you have. Feel free to write me a question. Okay, so thanks for listening, and I hope it helped. Yeah, feel free to write questions. Let me know.